What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Passionate DJ Podcast. I'm your host, David Michael. My co-host today is the one and only Tony DeCero.
What up?
And we have a very special guest today, Corrupt.
What's going on?
Is it okay if I call you James?
Yes, that's...
So, James, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
coming and hanging out, and maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and who Corrupt is as a DJ. Tony's been wanting to get you on the show for a long time, so I've been really looking forward to talking to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, Corrupt is electronic producer, hybrid DJ. I like to use the word hybrid. I like to implement all styles into my performances. Yeah, I mean, I just like to entertain. I like to challenge myself with different types of shows and production. And, you know, I grew up loving house music, started with that. And now I just have a passion for all types of music and, you know, nightclubs, festivals, and sharing the way I present those styles.
Did you start out as a DJ performer, or did you start out in production and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I was a DJ first. I wish I was a producer first at a young age. That would have been very convenient. But no, I was about 19 when I started DJing. Had no idea what I was getting myself into and how much I was going to really enjoy it. And then around 21, I was like, all right, I really want to do this.
Where did the name Corrupt come from?
But to be honest, it was a username, video game username on a...
So many of them started that way, yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of ran with it. I had no idea that it was going to become a big logo and brand. And yeah, it was just a shooter game that I played in high school with some friends and just kind of ran with it, you know.
And how do you two know each other?
I don't know how we actually met. Obviously to the Columbus scene. I don't know if it was through the company that I work for now or that I was working through previously, but it was somewhat of the Columbus music scene.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, oh man, that's Tony DeCero. He's a legend. I got to befriend him right away.
He is a legend.
Oh man, urban legend. But yeah, Corrupt was playing a few of our festivals and a few of our shows, and that's how we kind of started interacting with one another, maybe stage managing while he was playing.
Yeah, for sure.
So you also have a history as a promoter, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just kind of naturally happened being next to Ohio State, just realizing the benefit of, you know, reaching out to them and just getting a bunch of friends in your corner to come out to your shows weekly, you know, gave you more opportunity to play. So it was a huge advantage.
That's a difficult task to get everybody to come out weekly.
Yeah. You're telling me.
So I feel like I read, I think maybe it was in your bio that you were doing like 4 shows a week or something like that for a while. That's a pretty hot schedule for doing this sort of thing. To wear you out, or is this what energizes you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before I was doing that, I was working a full-time job and then kind of took a chance and left that and came to DJing full-time. And, you know, you still had to pay your bills, and I was fortunate enough to get opportunities, that many opportunities a week. And that's another reason why I had to build such a, you know, big network of friends to come out and support.
Sure.
So,
I mean, how do you go from playing those college parties to what you're doing now? Because now, I mean, if you look at your sort of DJ resume, I mean, you have this residency. We can talk about that, but you're opening for all these great acts, like some of the biggest names you ever heard of in the you know, the EDM or the dance music industry. I mean, how do you get from there to here?
Consistency, you know. I never really got settled in and never was really satisfied with where I was. I still am not. Consistency with learning and just being humble and opening yourself up to improving in every aspect of the industry. You know, just it's easy to get comfortable.
Sure.
Especially when, you know, I had that full-time gig, 3-4 days a week, you know, but you know what your goals are, your ultimate goals are, and you know that everyone's trying to do that same thing. So you have to wake up and get to work.
So were you playing dual roles there, the DJ and promoter, when you were doing the college parties?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, at first it was, you know, promote the venues, promote their events, and then that kind of turned into, okay, now I need to promote my brand, promote my music. So
One thing that I noticed too that I like about what you do is you have a pretty big group of ambassadors.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big group. I mean, if you look at the show, I mean, even some of the shows that you play on that you're opening the show, you're playing and there's 50, 100 people in front of him with, corrupt banners. And I mean, he's got literally a huge group that.
Oh, that's great.
They post his events. Anytime anything corrupt is posted, there, you see my timeline floods because I'm friends with, quite a few of them.
Yeah.
My timeline floods with it, and that's a pretty big deal.
You kind of have like a street team thing going then for
Yeah,
your personal brand. That's
absolutely.
great.
Everyone wanted to be involved some way. Everyone loves the music that you love, and it was really cool to start that.
What is the music that you love? You started in house, but what else gets you going?
Yeah, so it still is house music. I mean, that's my number one.
Okay.
When I'm in the car, I'm listening to house music. But now, when it comes to my style of performing, DJing, production, I just appreciate all styles now. I've kind of evolved with the time, and I kind of know what works, what doesn't work. And it's truly what I want too. It's not just what works. It's truly what I like as well.
Well, that really helps, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure that we don't skim over you as a producer because you've had a lot of success in that. I was skimming through your SoundCloud, and you've got quite a bit of activity going on there. And I'm sure there's probably other channels that you push to as well. So did you have like a particular, I don't know, aha moment or like a certain track or something that kind of put you on the map as a producer?
Yeah, I still am trying to get quote unquote on the map, but early on, my first quality releases, I got some big radio hits from Tiesto, Diablo, Alison Wonderland, and that was
Pretty major.
Yeah, it was pretty big, and it was very motivating. And let's see, yeah, I just kind of released, sent those tracks to managers and labels. And then that's how the radio play happened. And after that, I just tried to find a niche style and sound that I was comfortable with, that I felt like I could excel with.
What's that moment like when you're like, I don't know if somebody told you, if you happened into it, but you're like, oh, Tiesto is like hammering one of your tracks right now. Like,
yeah,
it's got to be a pretty awesome
I'm not going to lie. I remember exactly when we found out. The label that we released with emailed me, and they're like, Tiesto just played your track on Club Life, and I was at an after party after one of my shows at the time, and I shut the music off and I yelled really loud at the party, and we all hit the floor. And
oh, that's awesome.
And that's the last thing I remember that night. So.
That's well, that's super cool because then you got to have that moment with like you're already kind of in that celebration mode and having all your friends with you, and that's got to be pretty cool.
Definitely a memory I won't forget.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I asked you to bring in some of your tracks. Maybe we can listen to one of your either originals or remixes and share that with the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so what'd you bring in for us?
This first one, I believe, is a new remix I just finished in the fall of All American Rejects' "Move Along." I was a huge alternative rock fan, and I used to go to Warped Tour and saw them there, and even crowd surfed, and it was just a really good time. And I just wanted to bring back my own style to that track, "Move Along." So.
Okay, great. Let's give it a listen. Wow, that's really nice.
That is.
Well, I really like this because it really brings it into a modern context.
Yeah, I dig it.
That's some really big synth work.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you like to work in?
I use Synth and Serum for synths. So,
okay. What DAW
Ableton 9.
Ableton? Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure we can still hear that a little bit. Yeah, that's really cool. That's so my wife and I have a track or like a Spotify playlist that has like a lot of stuff from this era that's very similar on it.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those really catchy songs that once I hear it come across, it gets stuck in my head and stuff. So it's pretty cool to hear this in an electronic modern context.
Yeah, thanks, man. And that last year I really tried to focus on doing a lot of remixes. I'm trying to get people's attention with tracks that they're familiar with, putting my own twist on it, so they're more likely to press play and check out my music. So.
Even people that are not familiar with electronic music can get to it, that's something familiar.
So do you play a lot of your own originals and remixes when you play out?
Yeah, a lot of my remixes for sure. The electronic shows, I'll be able to throw in an original. Sometimes in the club I can, if the energy's high, I'll make a bootleg or something to one of my drops. But
what do you prefer to make remixes or straight up originals, or do you have a preference there?
It takes me a lot longer to make originals. Melody creation is still something I'm trying to prove with, but I like both. If I have the right stems and the right acapella, I'd love to do a remix.
Yeah.
But originals are a challenge that I love. I really like. I know that they're important. And I have a lot of unfinished originals, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, same here. So let's maybe talk about your residency a little bit. Tell us about that and how that's going and kind of what your role is there. Because I imagine are you doing some promotion there as well?
Yeah. Okay. Dahlia in Columbus is my residency. I play there. If I'm not traveling, I'm there. And their Saturdays are just out of control packed. Their Fridays are their show nights, so those are also packed. We always have an EDM guy come in on a Friday, and let's see, Thursdays we just started a new hip hop night, which is really doing well.
Do you play that as well?
Yeah, exact. I mean, I like all music. We brought in some new DJs that we're kind of experimenting with, and so every night has its own theme, and everything seems to be growing pretty quick. And I also have some residencies in Cleveland. I have a once-a-month residency up there at Magnolia.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Magnolia and Forward. So that's in the Flats, and that's just been really great, too.
So you kind of do like an open format thing, or do you play like it, since they're themed nights? It's like so you come in and play hip hop Thursdays, and then is it like EDM style stuff the rest of the weekend, or?
Yeah, so Saturdays I'm really able to do my thing. I feel like it's just I'm still playing my EDM, but I'm mixing in those mashups and sing-alongs. So like the remix we just heard would be good for a Saturday night.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Fridays just depends on what the show is. If I'm headlining, I'll be able to throw down high energy electronic. If I'm opening for a trance guy, I might switch it up. I just like to be able to do all that, be compatible with anything.
How do you prepare for those larger gigs? Like if you're, playing for a big trance guy, let's say Armin or Ferry Corsten or something like that.
Yeah, you don't sleep. I like to prepare as much as possible before the event. Get to know the event that you're playing, the crowd that's going to be there. My set time, I try to figure out, what's best for that set time. And then, obviously, most importantly, you want to make edits that flow well. You want to make sure that your set idea is prepared and that flows well together. That's pretty much.
Do you, like energy-wise, because we always have this come up where some people will say, like, bang it out and show what you can do, and then the other side is like keep it chill and kind of lead into the what's your perspective on that, I guess, from an energy perspective, assuming you're doing like a direct support role?
Yeah, that's a pretty sensitive subject because it depends on the type of show. there is a need for proper opening support for certain artists. And the problem with a lot of up-and-comer artists is they don't get their opportunity in the spotlight. And
Yeah.
so when they finally do, they want to just go crazy. But if it's going to be for a trance show or like a Eric Pritz or something like that, you're going to have to throw down a proper opening set.
Yeah.
In the open format circuit, when you're opening for somebody, your number one job is to create a party and, play what you need to play. Maybe not play the popular 10 tracks right before the next guy, but,
Right.
just kind of, it just varies, I feel like.
How you feel about requests?
I'm
I'm trying to poke the bear over here.
You're going to play those tracks usually anyway. Like recently, all the requests that I get are tracks that I'm going to play. I'm not a huge fan of requests. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
But if it's a friend coming up to me like play this, and I can actually play it, I'll play it. But most of my friends tell me to play something really crazy that I can't even play. So
One thing that I got kind of turned off by when I was opening a lot of those shows for Donnie and stuff, as time went by, I was playing more darker, proggier stuff that kids now just don't understand.
yeah, they don't understand.
They don't understand it at all. And I talk about it all the time. When I was opening a Morgan Page show, and there was a guy playing before me. He played. He started off playing some Jay-Z stuff, and he got the gig because he sold a bunch of tickets. And then he played from 9 to 10. I went on at 10, and the 150 people that were there were like, "God, this guy sucks," talking about me because I'm playing more like chill stuff leading up into Morgan Page, and it was
They were there to hear what their boy was doing and
Right.
didn't get it.
right. So, how do you feel about house music blending with the EDM? Can you get away with any of that stuff now?
Yeah,
Deeper stuff and
yeah, definitely. The deeper stuff, it has to be the hottest, deepest stuff to
Mhm.
be mixed in with that. Fisher
Mhm.
is big right now. You can kind of incorporate that into really any type of set.
Dirty Bird's definitely making a crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone loves house music, but it also depends on what city you're in, I feel like, because, I've been in LA recently,
Mhm.
and their culture is completely different than
Yeah, for sure.
some Miami spots or some, New York. So I don't know. I think it just depends on the area and the way it's presented.
Mhm.
So
What are some of the other locations you've played outside of Ohio?
I've played San Diego. I've played the only out of country gig I've had was in Mexico.
Okay.
I do have something hopefully confirming in the next few weeks in Canada, but
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
yeah, so San Diego, LA, Miami, Chicago, Detroit.
Played Electric Forest twice, haven't you?
Yeah, and I'm coming back this summer too, so that'll be great.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite.
That forest is like no other.
Really, I mean, there's no words.
So, opening up for all these headliners, who has been your top 3 that you've got to open up for?
Okay. Number 1 is going to be Eric Pritz back at Red Zone
Okay.
with you. That
Nice.
was
Nice.
yeah, I opened for Tony, but I felt like I opened for Pritz because I closed for him.
Yeah, you went on.
So
afterwards,
yeah,
too.
so we both got a really good opportunity there, and the whole night went perfect. I feel like I got to run back there and meet him and talk about his release at the time, and
That was a big deal because he doesn't come over here very often.
Exactly.
He's afraid of flying or something like
Yeah,
that. Was the
that's
rumor
something-
anyway.
yeah, I believe
Doesn't
that's
like it
true.
or-
And he still is my number one. Like his track Every Day is gonna play at my wedding if I ever get
he
married.
is amazing. I mean, even live, that guy's phenomenal.
Yeah. Let's see. Man, I've opened for a lot of shows.
I believe it because looking at your schedule, just like active upcoming gigs on your website, I was like, wow, that's quite a list.
Yeah.
Some of the years ago events just felt like they were more special just because, now it's more about setting up the party versus playing like a full underground set. Kind of what Tony
Sure.
was mentioning, where he used to play opening a proper set. You still do that, but you have to make sure it gets busy first. Like you have to make sure that the people are in there ready for that music first, depending on the show and depending on the venue.
Do you prefer like because you played like the festival scale stuff, and then you've played like the smaller, intimate nightclub gigs. Kind of, what do you like to do if you had a preference or a choice?
Yeah, I really like festivals. I love the energy and atmosphere, and I prep specific edits for festivals that I really enjoy.
Okay.
But I also like the intimate nightclub experience. I mean, each is a completely different style for me. I like to go a little harder at the festivals and jump around on the stage and be a little bit more hype on the mic. And then at clubs, I'm hosting on the mic, and I'm quick transitioning and playing different like kind of more dancey stuff and instead of fist pumping stuff. I get you know what I mean, kind of, or shuffling kind of stuff. So
you could kind of go either way. Just you present a different version of Corrupt depending on.
Yeah, and I'll still incorporate the same tracks, but they'll just be presented differently.
So, in what way? Like as far as track order, or?
Yeah, energy building. For example, you might have like I play a lot of trap at festivals. I might throw in a hard trap track prime time at a nightclub, but I might start with it as an intro.
Okay.
At a festival just to set the tone immediately.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
want to play another track?
Sure.
Cool. What's the track number 2 on
Let's
there?
see here. This is an original that called Inside This Dream. It's a kind of like an electro house style.
I like that already.
This was a part of a 2-track EP, and this released on Liftoff Recordings, which is Disco Fry's label.
Oh, okay. Great.
Dance with me now, not with me now. Dance with me now, so with me. Dance with me now, not with me now. Dance with me now, so with me.
It's one of those get a moving tracks.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that one a lot. So I can tell that you have a lot of different influences just by listening to this one
I was about
track.
to say, I heard
Yep.
some trance, I heard some house.
Yeah, a little that electro EDM
Yeah.
stuff, and a little
I really like
it's all over the place, but I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah, thank you.
I love those little twinkle synths right there.
Dance with me now, not with me now. Dance with me now, so with me. Dance with me now, not with me now. Dance with me now, so with me.
It's really hard to sit down and listen to this.
I know, right? We're all just bobbing. So, as a producer, who influences you?
I do a lot of electro house guys. A lot of like Sick Dope, Abstract, Too Loud. So, and then the remixing is more like me kind of getting out of my shell with trying to be melodic. And
Okay.
the only melodic original I did was with this Kara called My Type, and it was something I was trying to, Don Diablo inspired. And I'm still trying to learn like melody creation. So I do a lot of this darker stuff because sound design for this is a lot easier for me in melody creation. And
That's interesting because I'm the complete opposite. I can create melodies.
I need to
without,
talk to you.
without too much trouble.
He's
but
a
sound
great piano player.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
lost
that's the
with sound
thing. I
design.
don't have the piano history, which is why I was saying, being a producer first would have been huge at a younger age.
When did you start with the DJing thing? Was it 21? You said.
Yeah,
Was that when you
19
started?
actually, but
19. Okay.
and I didn't start learning to produce until I was 26.
Okay.
So
That's kind of exactly flipped for me. I started out tinkering around with amateur production, and then I was like, how would I ever perform this? And then so that's what DJing got my attention from there. So that's pretty interesting.
yeah, I mean, I've taught a lot of friends how to DJ, and they're like, "Well, teach me how to produce." I'm like, "Well, okay, come over every day for the next,
What were you into, before the DJ days from a musical perspective? Like, where does your musical passion kind of come from?
Yeah, I mean, I was when electronic music was on the rise, I kind of was going to the festivals like everyone else and just in love with like electronic music, even in Cascade at the time and Deadmau5 and
Yeah.
I'd go to clubs, I'd dance. I just liked everything about it. I would always look at the DJ and be like, "Oh my gosh, that guy's like a god right now." Like he's like up there and he's just like doing his thing and he's got all these people and the lights are going crazy. And then also my cousin is actually a radio DJ in North Carolina, and she was kind of telling me about what she does, and I don't know, if you love music, you should do something with music. So
That's great. Were your parents musically inclined or anything?
no,
like
in fact, I'd come home from high school every day and the country music channel was on. So maybe
Went a
this
different
is just
direction
one
then.
big protest. No, they when I told them I wanted to be a DJ, they were like, "No," but thank God my mom got me a DJ set, and hopefully I paid her back. I don't remember, but she got me started, and from then on I just practiced and then went downtown and networked. And
That's interesting. How did you talk her into that? Because I think there's a whole segment of our audience that wants to hear about this because I get emails from them.
Yeah.
Like teenagers who want to become DJs, but they say my parents think it's a bad idea or they won't let me get
Sure.
gear or whatever.
Yeah, what did you learn on?
oh man, I was two Technics and Serato and a Pioneer. Was it 600 maybe? It was silver.
5 or 600.
5 or 6,
600,
yeah.
I'm gonna say. And it was one big coffin that I would need friends to help me carry around. Didn't even
Maybe
have
like
wheels.
150 pounds.
But no, to answer your question, don't tell your parents you're trying to do it as a job. Just say it's a hobby first, and then you can slowly work on that.
I never know how to answer them because they're like, my parents think I shouldn't do this. I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go against your parents.
Don't go in the garage.
That's cool. So, do you have like a favorite performance or gig that you've done to date?
Yeah.
So Electric Forest was pretty cool.
Yeah, so 2017 Electric Forest, I'm going to have to go with that. Forest stage. Very
Okay.
intimate stage. I've never seen that many people at one of my sets before.
Nice.
I mean, you couldn't tell where the crowd ended.
I saw pictures and videos of that. And they were deep.
I mean, I just don't even understand. Like it was. I felt like the happiest person on earth at that time, and I was nervous, but not when I started. I was like, all right, this is my moment,
Can you kind of set that stage for us for those of our listeners, and myself included, who have never actually been? What is that atmosphere like, and what is that gig like from your perspective?
Yeah, it's as big as it gets. It's always a goal to play at a major festival. Once you finally are there, it kind of all sits in, and you're nervous, your adrenaline's up. But I had a lot of friends around me just saying like, no, you're going to crush it. And all the preparation helps too. You know, you're confident before you start. You know you have a good set ready to go. But just, you know, you don't want your USB to, you know,
Right.
no pun intended, but be corrupted. You know, you don't want that to happen.
That's one thing that I have to deal with. Well, when I do play, is anxiety. I get that stage fright, that fear. How do you overcome that?
I mean, you can have a couple drinks, or you can, you know, you can just be around some friends and kind of just step away for a second and just remember all the preparation that you put in and the reason
Kinda
you're there in
trust
the first
yourself.
place. Yeah, it's important to be yourself and remember what got you to those moments. You know.
Let's play another track.
Okay, let's see what we got. We got here's an unreleased original that I hope to release in the next. Is it going? There we go.
So this is unreleased?
Yeah, this is a very similar style to the last one.
There's that house influence.
Another one inspired by Don Diablo, Sid, those guys.
Ooh, funky.
I just need to get my space. You just need to find your way. Throw your face at my place. You can go out today. I just need to get my space. You just need to find your way. All the attention by my way. I don't wanna see your face.
It's nice.
It was very nice. This might be my favorite so far.
Thank you.
So when you're producing, do you have a set way to go about it? Do you start with your beat, your rhythm? How do you start it?
Yeah, so I'll start with the drop melody first, and then I'll go into the lead after that. And I won't really make my final sound design till the end. I'll just get something general, what I like, and then I'll structure it last. I mix down as I go, master last, though.
You do your own mixing mastering?
Yeah.
I was just getting ready to compliment you on the mixing, the mix down, but I didn't know if that was you or...
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
great.
thank you.
Where do the vocals come from, if I can ask?
They're just royalty vocals I found deep in a sound pack somewhere.
Oh, they're great.
Thanks.
You got a fun style, man. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt like this disco sound was kind of coming back a little bit. I started playing some of these type of tracks in my sets, and people were just really vibing.
You can play these in open format sets, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to help. So you probably kind of have some of these that can kind of help you cross over and go back and forth. That's something
Exactly.
we've talked about before, too, because we had a couple DJs locally in Dayton that would do that quite a bit, where they would kind of... I called it like sneaking into the stuff that they wanted to
Yeah,
play, and
and
then they
that's
would
true.
come back.
That's
you know?
exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean, and that's why I chose the style of career I took. You know, I just wanted to be able to play a little bit of everything.
Do you turn down gigs that don't meet certain criteria? Like, do you like, hey, will you play at 9 o'clock? No, I'm kind of beyond that now. Or do you take those gigs as well?
Every opportunity, you know, is different. You know, it's not really, if there's a big gig and the slot time is not that great, but you know that there's an opportunity there to do business and grow as a brand, I'll still do it. It's not, you know, right now at Electric Forest, I have no idea what my set times are going to be this summer, but I know the opportunity regardless, you know, is great. So I'm going to do whatever they give me. And I encourage all artists to look at it like that are growing. Nobody's too big for any opportunity. But, you know, financially they might be, you know, so that's a part of it. You got to make a living at the end of the day. So
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I asked, because is this what you do full time? I guess I should. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
So I mean that time is money, right? So if somebody
Sure.
comes to you and says, "Will you play for free at 8:30 as an opener for Bob's Diner?" You know,
Right.
You probably don't.
Yeah,
It probably doesn't appeal to you.
You'll
I would
ask
assume.
questions. You'll be like, "All right, who's going to be here?" You know, like, "Do I get a free burger?" Like, "What's up?" You gotta figure it all out.
Yeah, give me some gas money or something.
Yeah.
What's your favorite city that you've played in?
Oh man, I got to go with oh man, it was San Diego. I think it's Miami now, because Miami, as far as I can tell, is like my niche.
It's a
style.
whole nother world down
So
there.
those
that's
strike
for
me
sure.
as totally different scenes. So how do they differ in your estimation?
San Diego has a very good night scene, and they have a lot of shows. But just specifically, my show was better in Miami.
Okay.
I felt like I was in my zone of my style, 100%. And
Was that a nightclub gig or?
yeah.
What club did you play at down there?
Wall
Is that new?
Lounge,
Oh, okay.
right on South Beach.
Nice.
I think it's close to Live.
What is your favorite club that you've played?
I think he's contractually obligated to say Dahlia.
Yeah, that's
Outside of your residency,
Right,
let's say
right.
that.
I'm gonna have to go with Forward in Cleveland.
Okay.
Right on the river there, and it's there's nothing quite like playing outdoors at a packed club like that. You know, really good sound system too.
Nice.
Do you listen to anything outside of sort of electronic music? When you're not DJing or thinking about that context, what else do you like to listen to?
I enjoy hip hop a lot.
Same.
You know, old school hip hop, but now I'm starting to get into some new school hip hop. You know, especially because I have to, but I like it too.
Yeah.
But I have to educate myself on all the new releases. I take, you know, all my DJ sites, I download everything, and I'll take a listen to everything. So sometimes I'll put on the hip hop radio in the car and just see what they're playing. Usually they're playing the same 10 tracks, but you never know.
Just no country, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Bone Thugs or Migos?
Man, it depends on who I'm with, but I'm gonna have to say Bone Thugs.
Okay, you're with the right
Good
people
call,
then. We got one more track, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, let's give that a
it's
listen.
a remix. One of my favorite remixes I've done. It's an older one, but two friends actually plays this in all their sets.
Okay.
Right now, so.
What I would do to take away
Flume, Never Be Like You.
Yeah, they played this. They were in Dayton a couple months ago,
Yep.
November.
Now I'm messed up and I'm missing you. And I'll be like you. I would give anything to change this fickle-minded life that loves fake shiny things. Now I'm messed up and I'm missing you. And I'll be like you. I'm all that you can just say, I'm there, I'm missing. It's just not me and my face. Tell me everything's okay.
I hope there are some listeners at home that are hearing this in headphones, because I mean this is headphones worthy material. It's just very big, and like I said, the mix downs are just really
Thank you.
proper.
Clean.
Oh, it's a short edit.
I like especially before the big drop, the shuffle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shuffle in your percussion.
Absolutely.
Which is nice. It gives it just that little bit of movement, you know?
Yeah, I tried to keep it groovy. The original is obviously slow tempo, and I wanted to create a house version of this and something fun and uplifting.
Very cool.
I like it.
All right, James, we're coming to the end here, but I do want to ask if, you've already given a lot of great information here, but I wonder if you have any kind of, advice that you would give to up-and-comers, whether they're DJs or producers or any kind of performers. You've really done a lot. You are doing a lot, and seems like you're going to continue doing a lot. And it's going to be fun to watch. I'm definitely going to be trying to see what you're doing and keep an eye on it. And I want to come and hear you play as well.
Yeah, please do.
But what advice would you give to people who are just trying to figure this out?
Just know that you're getting into a lot, or know what you're getting into. Ask questions. Be humble. Don't give up. Be consistent. I know it's all pretty cliche, but that's the truth, because a lot of people want to do this, but they don't consistently put in the work. And it's not going to happen overnight. Every night is a grind. Watch tutorials, ask questions. There's never a stupid question.
The ask questions thing is big for me, because I feel like so many people the ego gets in the way of that, whether they're, year 1 or year 10. Even if they don't, it doesn't feel like a pride thing, but it just seems like I should know the answer to this, and I will feel embarrassed that I have to ask it, and so they don't. Whereas you could just start asking questions and trying to figure this stuff out and be done with it already, you know what I mean, and try to learn something.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started learning how to produce, I thought I was there, and I wasn't. And a part of it is confidence and ego at first. When you're younger, you're afraid to ask questions, but you just have to get over all that and realize it's also about just being uncomfortable asking questions.
Yeah.
Is this person going to think I'm stupid if I ask this question? But no, it's not. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that build you up and aren't going to be like, you don't know how to make a saw. Don't worry about all that, but just, put in the time, commit.
And before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to bring up or talk about or share with the audience? Any stories you'd like to share before we sign off?
Well, getting music out is tough. If you don't have an official remix or original, it's not going to be able to get on Spotify yet. They're working on it, so I think. But for me, my music, there's only so much on iTunes and Spotify. So if you want to check out my all my music, all my remixes are on SoundCloud and YouTube, and you can find everything on corruptmusic.com. Just make sure that when you're releasing stuff that you are hitting on all those. Make sure, because everyone's listening to music on different things.
Sure.
SoundCloud isn't what it used to be, but I still use it because I have to. YouTube, I just started getting into. I didn't realize how big that was with music. So yeah, just when you're releasing music and you're wondering why you're not getting a lot of plays or something, make sure you hit everything. Just something to think about.
And what are the, is it Corrupt Music for SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Corrupt Music?
Correct.
And same for everywhere else?
No, corruptmusic.com, but
Okay.
Let's see. Facebook is Corrupt Music. Twitter, IG are DJ Corrupt.
And corruptmusic.com will kind of point you to all the various channels,
just
right?
go there and you can get to all my socials, all the music, and my tour schedule.
Okay. Well, this has been fun, James. Thanks so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
it, guys. Tony?
Absolutely, yeah.
And we do occasional other series called Pick 3, where we all choose a different theme to bring in, such as old school hip hop, for example.
Nice.
And we all just bring in 3 different tracks under that umbrella that we want to share with the audience. If you'd like to come back sometime and do one of those, we'd love to have you back.
That would be great. Absolutely. Just a drive away, so.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out our monthly bonus episode at patreon.com/passionate DJ. There's where we put all of our extra content that we record throughout the month that doesn't make it on the main show. We would love to have your support. And also check out our merch at passionatedj.com/merch. And until next time, keep on spinning. This has been the Passionate DJ Podcast. Peace.
Yeah.